Hey boys, today we're gonna do some two-ball dribbling. So we're gonna do two-ball V dribbles. So what I like to do first is make sure the ball has both balls have about the same amount of air in it. Do a simple drop test, pretty close. If one's a lot more inflated than the other, it makes this drill a lot harder. So get into your normal good position here, legs spread out, knees bent, back straight. Always eyes up, and we're gonna do two-handed V dribbles, side to side. The other thing we can do is do them in the same direction. So try to do 100 dribbles like that each session, and let's go show you another drill. Okay, we're gonna work on between the legs. Between the legs is a hard one because our boys don't have a lot of space to get that ball in between, but it can still be done. So there's two behind the dribbles, or there's two between the leg dribbles that you use. One is more of a front to back motion, which is this, and that's really for maybe like when you're attacking and you need to retreat. So you can, it's an easy way to back up. What I want the boys to focus on is the attack between the legs, which is really a side to side between the legs. So it's more here as opposed to here, okay? So we're gonna focus on the side to side attack dribble between the legs. The way I like to do it is just get the boys, get a spot on the ground and get them dribbling through. So they don't have to start with a dribble, just get them throwing it through, throwing it through, throwing it through. What you're gonna see is, I think the biggest thing that I would see with the boys is they're gonna wanna do this, little baby dribbles. And that's okay to start with. However, we're gonna want them, because when you're attacking, nobody really does these, I mean, you can, but we wanna be able to get them to attack off the dribble with a regular height dribble. So start them just throwing the ball through, catch, catch, catch. And then as they get into it, the next step would be a couple dribbles and then a push through. A couple dribbles and then a push through. And you can always catch it on this side. Then the third and final step would be dribble, dribble back around, dribble, dribble back around, and keep the dribble going. And then the final step, if we ever get to that point, would be two between the legs with two hands here. And remind the boys, when you're doing crossovers like this, if you look at my body here, there's not much change between this. I'm really still doing the same crossover dribble. It's just now between my legs. So remind your boys that although it looks tough, it's really the same thing as a crossover dribble. Hey boys, today we're working on the tennis ball toss. This is a simple drill. If you don't have a tennis ball, you can use anything you got. Get a wad of tin foil and ball it up, and you guys can use that. This will involve the parents' help or a brother or sister to kind of toss the ball, but what this is you're gonna go with each hand. Right hand, pound, and then the ball comes for a toss, catch. Okay? Switch hands, left hand pounds, toss. Right? So and then, as you get better and better, you can do variations. So you can do crosses, toss, right? So however you want to do it. If you're more advanced, you can do tosses while you're doing this, right? And just work on the different techniques. Okay, boys, this is a condensed version of the layup drill that you saw maybe a few weeks back. What we're gonna do here, we're not even gonna use a basket. If you got a basket, that's great, but if not, no problem. Start with your boys right in front of two spots, and you just wanna work on the footwork. No dribbling, and it's just 1, 2, up. Okay, so using the ball, 1, 2, up. Then as you get better, you can take a step back and do a dribble. Dribble, 1, 2, up. Right? Again, dribble, 1, 2, up. And then as you get a little better, you start dribbling, running, 1, 2, up. Right? Start farther and farther back and try to get it to where you can go full speed, 1, 2, up. And obviously, if you're a left-hander, it'd be on the same thing, except just so you know, left-hand layups are opposite. So it's left, right, up. So for the lefties out there, it's left, right, up. On the right side, it's right, left, up. Okay, so your outside leg should always be the one going up. Left, right, up. Okay? Hey boys, today we're talking about crossovers. One of the things that I'm not a big fan of is in the app that we use, all of the drills that involve crossover are timed drills, right? So what does that make you do? I see Parker a lot, he's trying to get a good time. So crossovers look like this. Because obviously you don't want to do crossovers because that takes too long. So all your crossovers in the app are like this. In reality, in a game situation, you rarely do a crossover like that, right? Crossovers should be long, wide, low, side to side, and that app doesn't really allow for that. So when you're working on crossovers, I think the coaches would prefer you do your crossovers outside of the app. One of the things I like to do is I got a little rubber target here. The first progression in good crossovers is just getting the habit of getting the ball to bounce in the same spot every time. Just getting that good rhythm down and making sure the ball lands in the same spot every time. After you do this, the next progression is going to be starting to get it wider and lower, side to side more. So come on over here. I got a quick setup and it's super easy. This is just something I had laying around. It's a ladder. I got a broom and a hoe, and the poles are sticking out. So what I do here is I do crossovers, and it forces me to get the ball underneath the broom and the hoe here. And so it forces these long, more pronounced crossovers, right? Versus what a lot of us see is this, right? With these two things out here, you can't do these dribbles. It forces you to get long and wide, and you can kind of arrange it. The other thing I've seen people do is you could put a box with the openings on the two sides, and you kind of got to dribble through the box. Once you master this, do this 50 times a day. The next step really is the same thing, but it's really using your shoulders and your footwork and your weight shift in order to put your whole body into these, right? You want to kind of get your shoulders and get that whole motion into doing the crossovers. Here, right? So again, progression. Work on the same bounce. Come here, get low, and then start putting your body and your legs into these crossovers.